Bay Life Kids, what's up? Happy weekend, everybody! I am actually in my truck in the Walmart parking lot, waiting on my beautiful wife to come out with some goodies. But I got some friends in the back seat as well. Hey, Judah, where are you?
Right here.
Everyone say hi to Judah. Judah, say hi to everybody.
Hello.
It's kind of fun. And I think Graceland might be back there.
Hey, guys.
Oh, there she is. These are my two kiddos, Graceland and Judah. And we're just hanging out in the truck, like I said, waiting. Hey, guess what? We got some cool stuff happening this Sunday in this episode. Week 2 of KIDVID has just launched a couple days ago. There's a new memory verse for our Gospel Project curriculum and a new big picture question, which we're going to get to here in just a little bit. But first, very first, I want to give you like 45 seconds of what you might have missed from KIDVID episode number 2. So go ahead and watch this, and I'll be right back. Man, that was so cool. I had so much fun making that episode. Hey, Judah, what was your favorite part about episode 2, KIDVID?
Well, the games were very fun by knocking down the army man.
Yeah.
And rolling the ping pongs in the cups. And also about the slime because somebody picked their brother and it was amazing.
That was pretty cool, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So you played it and press it the best, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Graceland, what about you? What was your favorite part about episode 2, KIDVID?
My favorite part was game it.
Play it.
Play it, sorry. And press it.
And
Those
press it
were
with
my
the slime.
favorite parts.
Yeah. Funny little thing. I drive the slime machine around all over town and nobody knows it's in my truck. And my kids know it's in my truck, but they haven't played with it yet. So I'm going to slime them really soon. They just don't know that it's coming. Oh,
No
yeah.
big deal.
Hey, all right.
No.
Next up, we are going to watch our mission video. This is part 1 of 5 about the Dye family as they are getting ready to be missionaries in a place that you probably know of, Atlanta, Georgia. This is part 1 of 5. Get ready and let's watch this together.
Hi, I'm Daniel. And I'm Joshua. I'm Caleb.
And I'm Faith. And these are my parents, Matt and Teresa. And we're the Dye family.
Okay, so we might not look like a typical American family. My 2 youngest brothers are adopted. They're from Ethiopia.
Do you see the family resemblance? Sometimes things are not exactly as they appear. We're proof of that. And so is this place we call home.
We live in Atlanta, a city that's really not what people think it is.
And to understand why we say that, you have to go back a couple of years and a few hundred miles. All the way back to where we came from. This is Wheatley, Kentucky. It's our hometown. It's where we all grew up. And it's where my dad used to be the pastor of Dallasburg Baptist Church.
Wheatley was a great place to raise a family and to live. We love that church family so much. It was a great place to be the pastor of, and we know they still love us a lot as much as we love them.
But a couple of years ago, my parents started sensing God might want us somewhere else. Like my dad said, Wheatley was great, but compared to some other places, there's lots of churches here.
Well, we really began to feel the need to be in a place where there weren't so many churches. And so we got online and we just got on the computer and began to look, and we realized that most major cities in America are just desperate for more churches.
My parents found out that there are millions of people in places like New York, Los Angeles, and Chicago who don't know that Jesus is real.
So they looked and they prayed. And then they looked and they prayed some more. They didn't know exactly where God wanted us to live, but my dad was pretty sure about one city God would not want us to move to.
I immediately marked Atlanta off the list. Atlanta is in the South, and I thought they had plenty of churches, and I wanted to be in a place where there weren't so many churches.
And that's why we all thought he was just a little crazy when he told us that he was going to check things out in Atlanta.
He'd gotten a call from some missionaries there who told him he needed to come and look the city over. They said he might be surprised at what he found.
And boy, were they right. We were all about to get the biggest surprise of our life. Next time, we'll show you what it was.
Well, that was a pretty neat video. This family's got a lot of exciting things coming up, happening in their lives, right? I'm sure everybody's thinking, ooh, what exciting things happening in my life? Well, I know that school is starting again really soon, so that's exciting. It's going to be a little bit different, more than likely, right, for all of us. So we got things to get used to, just like that family is going to have a lot of things to get used to. But hey, we're moving right along. We're going Bible story video next. We are talking about Paul and him returning to Jerusalem, and things don't really go the way he thinks they should, but he gets some very needed help from some very good people. Let's check out this Bible story video.
The Apostle Paul told people the good news about Jesus wherever he went. When he returned to Jerusalem, the believers were glad to see him. But many Jews did not like that Paul taught people they don't have to follow Jewish rules to be saved. So these Jews made a plan to stop Paul. Paul was at the temple when a crowd of people dragged him away and tried to kill him. But a Roman official came and stopped him. This official arrested Paul and brought him to the Sanhedrin, a powerful group of Jewish priests and other leaders. Their job was to decide if a person had broken a Jewish law, and if so, to decide how that person should be punished. Paul stood in front of the Sanhedrin and looked the men in the eyes. "Friends," he said, "I have done what God wants me to do. I do not believe I have done anything wrong." Paul explained that he had been arrested because he taught that Jesus was resurrected from the dead. The men in the Sanhedrin began arguing. Some of them thought Paul was right about the resurrection, and some thought he was wrong. The Roman soldiers took Paul away to keep him safe. The next night, the Lord stood by Paul and gave him an incredible message. "Have courage," he said. "You told about me in Jerusalem. I want you to tell about me in Rome, too." In the morning, a group of Jews got together and made a plan to kill Paul. They promised to not eat or drink until Paul was dead. These men told the Jewish leaders about their plan. Paul's nephew overheard this evil plan. He hurried to tell Paul what was going on. Paul told his nephew to report it to the commander. The army commander said, "Don't tell anyone that you told me about this plan." Then the commander told 2 of his officers to get together a large group of soldiers and horses. They brought a horse for Paul to ride on, and that night, the soldiers took Paul to Caesarea to see the governor. Even when others threatened his life, Paul continued to obey Jesus. He believed that God, who showed his love for the Word by sending his Son to die on the cross and rise again, would help him through hard times. We too can risk everything to share the gospel with courage because we know that God loves us and will care for us.
Man, what a great story that was. Paul is doing what needs to be done. Hey, while you guys were watching that Bible story video, I had to do what needed to be done, and I was able to drive home. And now I'm in my driveway, and my kids have left the truck, and so I'm just hanging out in the truck by myself, just because I can. It's better than sitting in my office or going somewhere else. Hey, I just want to recap this story real quick, just because it has a great lesson, as all these stories do. But this one in particular, I absolutely love, because it's Paul's turn to finally go back to Jerusalem and tell the officials in Jerusalem about Jesus. And what happened? Obviously, they got really upset because he's preaching the resurrection of Jesus Christ, and some people didn't think that should be happening in Jerusalem, the center of Jewish culture and things like that. But he did it anyway. And people got so mad that they took him before the governing body, the Sanhedrin, and he said the same thing. He's sticking to his mission. He's sticking by his word, and they wind up throwing him in jail until they can figure out what to do with him. And you guys heard the story. You guys know what happens next. The right people come alongside Paul and help him out and get him out of the city. But there's one really cool part of the story. And here's what I think it is. This is what happens when you have the right team and the right plan. And here's why I say that. The right team, having people on your side that believe the same things, that are fighting for the same goals, that are in this together. And that team, that's you and I. At least I hope. I'm in this because I love Jesus and because I want to tell as many people as I can about Jesus. And I want you guys to know more about Jesus and to fall in love with Jesus so that you can tell more people about Jesus. And the plan, that is the plan, is to share the love of Jesus with as many people as we can, just like Paul is doing. Paul is sharing the good news and sharing the plan with the right team. And here's what's cool. Any team that has the right plan and can execute that plan wins. And just like this story, Paul wins. Jesus, God, wins. Because God comes to Paul and says, take courage, take heart, because you've talked about me in Jerusalem. Now you're going to go to Rome. So it's like, you've talked about me in Jerusalem. Now you're going to go to Rome. You started in this small area and you were faithful. Now you're going to go to this big place and talk about me to the people in Rome. You're going to go to the very center of the government and you're going to share my gospel, the story of Jesus, to the people in Rome. And that's exactly what happened. They got him out of the city and he survived because he had the right team and the right plan. And that plan was executed perfectly because God was in the plan. Hey, we're going to roll right into something a little bit different. We have a new key passage and a new big picture question that I want to share with you guys here in just a second. Well, all right, since we're into a new unit, we have a new key passage and a new big picture question, and I want to share those with you right now. Our new key passage comes from the book of Philippians, chapter 1, verses 20 and 21, and it says this: I eagerly expect and hope that Christ will be exalted in my body, whether by life or by death. For to me, to live is Christ, and to die is gain. That is a really cool verse, and that's one of my favorite verses of all time, especially verse 21. For me, to live is Christ, and to die is gain. To live, I live for Christ. And the day that comes when it's time for me to leave this earth, I get to gain Christ. I get to see him face to face. It's a great verse. And our big picture question is this: when should we tell others about Jesus? That's a good question. When should we tell people about Jesus? Well, here's the answer. We should always tell people about Jesus, even when it's difficult. I know that can be hard sometimes, and I know that doesn't seem fun at times, but every time, all the time, that should be our goal, is to tell others about Jesus and how much he loves me, how much he loves you, and how much he loves everybody. Hey, listen, I hope you guys are having a great weekend and you are staying safe and your family's staying safe and you guys are doing well. And I hope that very soon we can get together face to face and be able to meet again. But until then, like I said, stay safe, stay well, and I'll see you guys very soon. See you later.